the voice that never died. He was not born in a palace, not in power, not with privilege and not with wealth. He was born in a pain, but with a fire in his soul, a fire to fight, to learn, to rise. He was born with a dream to challenge injustice, to question inequality, and to waken a sleeping nation. His name is more than just a name, it is a promise of hope, a promise that everyone, no matter where they are born, deserve justice, respect, and a life of dignity. He was a revolution that broke countries' old chain of caste, untouchability, and ignorance. Dr. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar, known with love as Baba Sahib, was a man who grew up in the deepest darkness. This darkness was not from the night, but from the society that treated him and his people as a less than human. Yet, from this pain, he created a bright light to knowledge and the courage that still guides millions today. This is the story of a boy who was not allowed to sit with other students in school. He was not allowed to drink water from the same pot as others. People called him untouchable. But this boy had a strong will and a deep desire to learn. He grew up to become the main writer of India's constitution. This constitution was made to break the unfair system that once tried to keep him down. His life was not just about rising from a low place to a high one. It was a fight to bring respect and dignity to his whole community. His life teaches us that nothing is more powerful than a brave heart and a free mind. A childhood of humiliation. Bhimrao Ramji Ambedkar was born on April 14, 1891 in a military camp in a place now it's called Mahu in Madhya Pradesh, India. He was the 14th and youngest child of his parents, Ramji Maloji Sakpal and Bhimabai Sakpal. His father was a soldier in British Army and taught him importance of education and discipline. But life outside the home was full of cruelty. Bhimrao belonged to a Mahar caste, which was called untouchable because of the unfair caste system in India. From a young age, Bhimrao faced the pain of being treated as an untouchable. This was not just an idea, it was something he felt every day. In a school, he and his brother had to sit on the floor, far away from other students. The teacher did not allow him to sit near him. He did not even touch their notebooks. He would throw them from a distance. One of Bhimrao's painful memories was not being allowed to drink water like other children. He had to wait for a school peon to pour water from above, so he would not pollute the water by touching it. This was very hurtful and left a deep scar in his heart. The world kept telling him that he was not equal. Bhimrao was not broken. He watched, he remembered, and he vowed. He vowed to rise so high that no one could touch him. He vowed to break the silence of centuries, silence of countries, silence of society. He was humiliated, insulted, and rejected. But this pain did not make him weak. Instead, it made him strong. Shame and sadness turned into a fire inside him, a strong desire to fight back. He understood that education was not only way to break this chain, so he made knowledge his shield and courage his weapon. He once said, I measure the progress of community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. This quote tells us something important about Ambedkar. He believed that truly good society is not one that has money, but one that has all its people equally, especially those who are poor or treated badly. The pain he faced in childhood taught him that real equality means lifting everyone, not just a few. a thirst for knowledge and education, a bright light in the darkness. Even with all problems in society, young Bhimrao was a bright, curious, and hard-working student. His father did not have much money, but he believed in the power of education. Again and again, he encouraged Bhimrao to stay in school, no matter how hard life became. In 1907, Bhimrao finished his high school study. This was not just a certificate, it was a victory, a big achievement for someone from his caste at that time. It was his first steps toward a better life, towards a free life. Society wanted to stop him. Society wanted to break him, but he refused to give up. His life changed completely when the Maharaja of Baroda gave him a scholarship to study at Columbia University in New York. When he reached America, he felt something different, something new, freedom, true freedom. For the first time, no one called him untouchable. No one judged him for his caste. No one denied him water. No one refused him to entry. He was simply Bhimrao, the student. He studied with passion, with hunger, with endless energy, because he had been denied such a chance to so long. He learned economics, he learned history, he learned law, he learned a master's degree and later a PhD. But his thirst for knowledge never ended. After America, he went to London to study at the London School of Economics and to become a lawyer. He was very poor, but he was rich in determination. Many times he skipped a meal so he could buy books. Many nights he stayed in a library, reading everything he could find. His mind worked like fire, burning, building, creating a powerful idea that he would later use to change India's future. Every book he read, every lesson he learned was like a weapon against the unfair caste system. He was more than a student, he was a warrior in a training. He knew that to fight a system built on inequality, he needed a sharp mind and a strong will. He did not study for fame. He did not study for position. He studied to serve. He studied to lift up those who had been pushed down for centuries. For him, true greatness did not come from power. It came from service, from sacrifice, from changing lives. The start of a revolution, the fight for social justice. When Dr. B.R. Ambedkar returned to India, he saw the same old caste discrimination, but now he was not a helpless boy anymore. He was a well-educated man, a scholar, an economist, and a lawyer. He was now Dr. Ambedkar, and he refused to be treated as a lace. He decided to spend his whole life fighting for the untouchables, whom he called the depressed classes. His fight began with bold and risky action. In 1927, he led the Mahat Satyagraha, a movement to give untouchables the right to drink water from a public tank. Dr. Ambedkar and thousands of followers walked to the tank and drank the water. It was not just drinking water, it was drinking dignity, drinking equality, drinking freedom. The upper caste Hindus attacked him and even tried to purify the tank with cow urine. But Ambedkar had made his point. His people would not stay silent anymore. He gave them the courage to speak, to stand, to fight. He also started a newspaper like Muknaik, leader of the voiceless, and Bahishkrit Bharat to spread awareness and build self-respect. He formed the Bahishkrit Hitkarani Sena to promote education and improve lives. Every step he took, every word he spoke, every action he made was a break the walls in society and in people's mind. The fight was not easy. He spoke against Congress Party, against Mahatma Gandhi, and against the British government. Many misunderstood him. Many disliked him, but he never stopped. His goal was clear: to destroy the caste system completely. He believed that freedom from the British was not unless without freedom from caste. The real change were not on hands, they were on minds. He once said, caste is not a physical object like a wall of bricks or a line of barbed wire. It is a mental notion. For Ambedkar, the battle was not just outside, it was inside people's thinking. To free his people, he had to break his poisonous idea and replace it with self-respect and equality. This was the biggest challenge, and he gave everything: his voice, his energy, his life to win it. Caste is not just a division of labor, it is a division of laborers. Ambedkar deeply believed that the caste system was the greatest evil in Indian society. The main architect building the Indian Constitution. The biggest moment in Dr. B.R. Ambedkar's political life came after India became independent. The country needed a set of rules to guide its future. The leaders of the nation chose Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to be the chairman of the drafting committee of the Indian Constitution. This one decision changed the future of the India forever. It was a poetic justice. The man who was once told he had no rights was now writing the rights for 35 crore Indians. The man who was once not allowed to sit with other students in a school was now trusted to write the laws for the entire country. The same hands that were once pushed away from public place were now holding the pen that would shape the destiny of the nation. Dr. Ambedkar accepted his role not for fame, not for power, but to make sure that the unfair things he faced would never happen to anyone again. For more than 2 years, he worked day and night, reading, writing, debating, and shaping the Constitution. His sharp mind, deep knowledge, and strong will made him the perfect man for the job. In the Constitution, he placed his strongest belief: freedom, equality, and brotherhood. He wanted India to be a place where all religions were respected, where no one was treated as a high or low, and where every citizen had equal rights. He introduced the idea of reservation for scheduled castes and tribes, so that those who were treated unfairly in the past could have fair chance to grow, to learn, and to participate in the nation's progress. He made sure that the Constitution guaranteed fundamental rights to every citizen, because rights are the shield of the weak and the strength of the nation. For him, the Constitution was not just a legal document, it was a mission, a dream, a promise. It was a tool to fight injustice, a guide to build a fair society, and a vision for a strong India. He became the conscience of the nation, the voice that reminded leaders that political freedom is unless without social equality. He once said, no matter how good a constitution is, it will fail if bad people run it. Even a weak constitution can work well if good people follow it. This was his warning, his wisdom, his truth. Dr. Ambedkar knew that the fight for justice would not end with writing the Constitution. It would need a generation of honest, brave, and fair people to keep his dream alive. He did not just write laws, he wrote the future of India. Right to equality, abolition of untouchability, freedom of religion, equal opportunity in employment, social protection for marginalized groups. He did not just write a constitution, he wrote a justice into law. He wrote a hope into words. He wrote a freedom into the future. A political voice for the poor and downtrodden. After the India became independent, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar become the country's first law minister. He saw this as a golden chance to bring a real change from inside the government. One of his boldest steps was introducing the Hindu Code Bill, a new law that would give women equal rights in inheritance, marriage, and divorce. This was a big step, a brave step, a necessary step towards gender equality. It directly challenged old, unfair tradition, but many traditional members of parliament opposed the bill. They did not want such a change. When Dr. Ambedkar saw that was not enough support to pass the full law, he resigned in 1951. His resignation was not a defeat, it was a statement. It showed that he would never compromise on basic rights for women, for the poor, and for the oppressed. Power was never his goal, justice was. Throughout his political career, Dr. Ambedkar used his voice for Dalit and other backward classes. He was a strong speaker, a fearless debater, and tireless fighter. Again and again, he said that for a real change, his people needed political power. He dreamed of society where no one vote was judged by caste, where every human being was equal. He became the voice of the voiceless, the hope of the hopeless, and the strength of the weak. He once said, freedom of mind is the real freedom. For him, freedom was not just from the British, it was a freedom from the chains in the mind. Until people broke free from caste thinking and harmful traditions, they could never be truly free. Not everyone believed in untouchability or discrimination, not in the past and not today. During Dr. Ambedkar's life, some kind and fair-minded upper caste people supported him. One was his teacher, Mahadev Ambedkar, who gave him the surname Ambedkar and always treated him with love and respect. Another was Sayaji Rao Gaikwad, the Maharaja of Barodara, who gave Bhimrao a scholarship to study in America. This chance changed his life. In Bombay, a Parsi friend, Krishnaji Arjun Keluskar, gave him books to encourage his study. These people looked beyond caste and saw his talent, his ability, and his humanity. Their support shows that kindness can exist in every community. Even in difficult times, there were people who stood against unfair and helped Dr. Ambedkar move forward. Their action gives us hope and prove that a real change is possible when people come together to do what is right. The final journey, choosing Buddhism. As the time passed, Dr. Ambedkar became more and more unhappy with how slow social change was happening within Hinduism. On October 14, 1956, just before 15 days of his death, in a big event in Nagpur, Dr. Ambedkar of his followers converted to Buddhism. This was not just about changing religion, it was a strong spiritual and political step. He chose Buddhism because it rejected the caste system and taught equality, kindness, and compassion. This was Dr. Ambedkar's final way of saying, I will not accept a society that treats people as less than human. This was Dr. Ambedkar's final gift to his people, a new spiritual identity, free from the pain of untouchability. He passed away less than 2 months later, leaving behind a legacy that was more than just a loss. It was a new part of life for millions. Dr. Ambedkar respected Hindu philosophy, especially the teaching of Lord Buddha, Vedanta, and Bhakti saints like Kabir, Ravidas, and Tukaram, who spoke about love, equality, and inner devotion. He believed that Hinduism has a great spiritual depth and that many parts of It teaches kindness, non-violence, and respect for all beings. He once said that Hinduism has the power to reform itself, but it needs to remove untouchability and caste inequality. He admired sant and reformer within Hinduism who fought for social justice, like Swami Vivekananda, Sant Eknath, and Dayanand Saraswati. Dr. Ambedkar did not hate Hinduism. He only rejected the parts that supported discrimination and inequality. His goal was to create a society where could be practiced with equality and dignity for every human being. He once said, "A drop of water lost itself in the ocean, but a person does not lose their identity in society. Every person is born to grow and develop themselves, not just to serve the society." This quote shared an important idea. Dr. Ambedkar believed that every person is important on their own. A person should not lose their identity in a group, especially in a group that is unfair or unequal. He believed that each human being has a value and everyone should have the chance to grow, to improve, and live with freedom and self respect. This belief was at the heart of everything he fought for. His legacy, the voice of voiceless. They cannot make history who forgot history. Dr. Ambedkar passed away on December 6, 1956, but his idea live on. His fight lives on. His spirit lives on. He was a lawyer, an economist, a political leader, a social reformer. But more than all this, he was a freedom fighter for all the poor, the weak, and the oppressed. His journey from pain to power, from discrimination to dignity, showed that one determined person can change the unfair world. His legacy is alive in today's India. The idea of equality, justice, and respect for all religions that he believed in are written into the Indian Constitution. The reservation system, throughout the debate by some, still works to correct the injustice suffered by the certain communities for hundreds of years. His words still give strength to Dalit and other marginalized people, reminding them again and again, you deserve justice, you have a voice, you matter. He is remembered not only for what he did, but for what he was. A thinker who never forgot his roots, a leader who stood alone when needed, a chief architect of Indian Constitution, a moral guide for a society that had lost their fairness. His life proves that pain can become a purpose, rejection can become a strength, and injustice can become a fought with courage. Babasaheb Ambedkar is not only the father of Indian Constitution, he is the voice of the voiceless. He showed that the fight is for justice is never easy, but it is always necessary. He walked that hard road for all of us, leaving behind a message, hope of the courage that will never fade. In 1990, India gave him the highest civilian award, the Bharat Ratna, but his real award is in every Dalit who dares to dream, in every child who learns to read, in every citizen who stands for justice. Baba Sahib needs no awards. His award is the change he created. When the world turned its back to him, he turned it towards book. When society shut its door, he opened new doors with his mind. His legacy tells us again and again, a fair and equal world is not just a dream, it is a goal worth fighting for, worth living for, and if needed, worth dying for. Baba Sahib Ambedkar is not just in our history. He is in our present and he will live in our future as well. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.